Yes, yes, yes. Welcome back to the Cajun Libertarian Live, the fastest growing podcast in the libertarian movement. If this is your first time joining us, I am your host, the Cajun Libertarian. So glad to be here. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. It is always amazing to be here with the family. So, tonight on the Cajun Libertarian Live, we'll talk about a trial, Sesame Street, Saturday Night Live, The View, and a little bit more. So, stay tuned. Should be a very, very fun episode. Next on the Cajun Libertarian Live. All right, let's get right into it really quick. Don't forget to go and subscribe to anchor.fm, the Cajun Libertarian. Favorite me, please. If you're on Google Podcasts, please give me all of the best reviews, even if you hate the show. Same thing with the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, 5-star reviews, all of the good things. Even if you hate me, be kind and please leave me all of the things that will help promote the show and, more importantly, the liberty movement as we grow closer and closer to being able to spread the message of freedom and liberty to absolutely everyone. Kenny Johnson says, Sup, bro? Good evening from Joe Vasquez. My man, what's happening? Tim Todd, what's going on, my friend? God bless to you as well. Brian Gibney, how's it going? It's going well. Yep. Going well. Trying to fight with Facebook and big tech at all times. If you didn't know, put some promos out. I quit doing promos for a while. The reason we started putting them out again today is because Facebook has flagged us. Or flagged, us, but it was for a tweet that I had made and cropped and shared about the Rittenhouse situation. And they sent me a notification saying that they would throttle my reach. And so here we are trying to deal with that. I don't know how else to deal with it. I've literally done nothing wrong, y'all. But ever since we started growing this brand and this message, they have been all over me, like unbelievable. It's just absolutely incredible. So it is what it is. I'm going to do my best to try to get the word out so that everybody can be here and we can all enjoy the information and spread the information that needs to be spread, right? And what we can have fun with. It's very frustrating, I will admit, but we're here and we're going to figure out how we can deal with it. And when we get past this, we'll get past this. I don't know. It is what it is. So, but how's it going, Brian? Yes, it's going well. Other than that, please subscribe to anchor.fm. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, basically wherever you get your podcasts. Facebook is just killing me right now. And Twitter streams actually have been bumping up like a great deal. So watch there. I'm also now on Float. So watch there. Float, we need to really pump up because that is a libertarian platform. And free speech, just fantastic. Stephen Andrew, what's up? Yo. My man, what's happening? South Jersey Libertarian, my guy. What is up, yo? What's up with y'all? My good friend Jason Lyon, Mr. America, the Bearded Truth. What's up, brother? What's up with you, dude? Great stream today, even though we still could not get to a verdict on the Rittenhouse trial. Jason is doing a phenomenal job on Muddy Waters Media, which I am a part of. Most of you know that. But he's doing a fantastic job of doing the best that he can to cover that event with all of the information that we possibly can give to y'all. They don't like anything that goes against the narrative, says Stephen Andrew Witt in regards to my Facebook comment and rant. Yeah, you're exactly right. I just look, me and Spike talked about it over the weekend. And I said, my only thing, I can't figure it out. The only thing I can think of is that they hate the fact that this brand has grown to almost 30,000 followers in 9 months, 10 months. technically less than that because we really didn't start using the page until about 7 months ago. It was about May when we started posting content like habitually to the page, and it just exploded. They hate that. And Spike had a great response. As always, he said they also hate what you post, right? And I think that's extraordinarily valid, extremely valid, extremely applicable. And here's the fact, and we're gonna get into some all of that, right? The truth part that's applicable, and that's what we're gonna get into tonight. Some of it, and so it's just amazing. I'm going to keep doing what it is that I feel like I've been called to do in this moment, whether we have a viewer or we have the normal 500 to 1,000 viewers. I'm looking at the screen right now. There's 21. Fantastic. Considering the reach being throttled, that's amazing. I'm going to try to not bump everything, y'all. I understand it's very frustrating to watch the live I'm sorry, not interviews, but the live broadcast, and the screen keeps bumping. By the way, that being said, I'm supposed to get a call from the shop tomorrow on the MacBook. So all of the purchases for the raffle tickets for this hat, this shirt, a sticker, a pin, and a signed personal AR-15 magazine by me, and a 15-minute live interview. All of those proceeds will go to getting the MacBook out of the shop now that the South Carolina event has been paid for. Look, also, I cannot at all express how much I'm floored that you guys not only participate in the raffles and you participate in the message of liberty, but the money's so hard to come by, and you guys are just incredible. You make it happen anyway. You do the thing, and that's incredible. I cannot thank you enough. We literally paid for the South Carolina trip via donations. There were a handful of tickets bought for the raffle. The raffle's still going, but because the South Carolina trip was already paid for, or not was, but is now, we will continue the raffle for the hat, for the shirt, for the sticker pin, signed AR-15 magazine, and a 15-minute interview or whatever else of your choosing. Granted that it's appropriate, and that will all come to fruition. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the website, CajunLibertarian.com. We will be posting a lot of content there. Eventually, everything's going to shift to CajunLibertarian.com because for obvious reasons, right? I mean, they're killing me, absolutely killing me, and so I got to figure out a better way, a more efficient way to get around the big tech situation and get the content out there that can spread, which is contagious, by the way. Never, never, ever mistake that. This message of liberty that I keep talking about is contagious. Never underestimate your power to have influence over another human in regards to the fact that you want to let them know that their life can be better by more liberty. So keep on keeping on, brother. Thank you, Brian. And to all of you, do that. Do that thing. Preach it, says Ken. I'm trying, man. I am trying with the best of my ability. I'm going to fall short every episode, every day, multiple posts a day. And, but hey, that's why this is a team, because we're all in this together and we're all going to make it happen. Let's see, checking a couple of more comments here before we start moving on. South Jersey Libertarian says, I got 3 accounts banned in the month of July alone. I'm trying to fly slightly under the radar, but I'm still on their list. LOL. Yeah, you are, because you have Libertarian attached to your name. Same as I do. Joe Vasquez, they don't want people to learn about freedom. They will keep banning and hiding it. Facts. Yep. All that matters is the narrative, and that's going to play gangbusters in the rest of the episode. Jason Lyon, my man, tirelessly covering the court case. Sad that I won't be able to finish it tomorrow. I mean, dude, you've done a great job. Sorry, y'all. My eyes are burning for some reason. I don't know what's going on. I just keep watering really bad. Dude, you've done a phenomenal. Everything you do is phenomenal, Jason. Thank you so much. Except for your beard. It's almost as good as mine. Almost as good. Man, I love you, Jason. If you want to grow other platforms, we need to do things other than libertarian stuffs, as well as libertarian stuffs. Yeah, I'm trying to reach out big time across the aisle in all fashions. Carly, huge teammate of mine. Thank you so much. Big hearts. And yes, they do hate successful non-establishment pages. Been there. Yeah, you're right about that. All right. So, JP, traveling man on keeps on traveling. Keep it up, good sir. Yes, and thank you. And that brings me to the next point that I wanted to get into before we actually start the episode is JP is the dissident in chief. Okay. He hosts a fantastic podcast that he has just recently started. And we had a bet going that between three of us, whoever had the least amount of views had to wear a dress. And Bootleg Libertarian has lost that in grand fashion, by the way. He is, yeah, he got crushed on that one. But everybody loved, but watch Not a Libertarian podcast. Watch Bootleg Libertarian podcast. They are great. They are fantastic. But yes, he will have to wear a dress. But JP, Descendant in Chief podcast, please go over to anchor.fm. It's pinned to the top of my page right now, the Cajun Libertarian. I want to take first place. I'm only about like 8 or less plays behind Sean, who is currently in first place. So please go listen to that, or at least 5 minutes of it. Forewarning, it is NSFW, not suitable for work. There's a lot of cussing that is involved there, but a really, really good episode, especially the last 3 quarters. Just a great episode. So please go watch that and put me in the lead. Please, 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 and thank you. I did see that Carly said, do we have a post for the raffle? We do. It's in the Cajun Libertarian feed. I'm gonna post it, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna pin it back to the top of the page, either here after tonight's episode or tomorrow morning. So, Brian Sutton, thank you, my friend. Watched it earlier today. Absolutely excellent. Please go watch that. Put me in first place. We're almost there. So, with that being said, I'll get to the rest of you guys have got the comments just flooding in. I can't even. I would not be able to do the rest of the episode if I just talk about your comments, which is fantastic. I would. There's several episodes where I'm just like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't have any content. I don't want any content. All I want to do is I want to sit here and I want to talk with you about your comments and what you feel is important. We do that quite often here. But I do have a lineup for tonight. So I've pitched the socials. I pitched the JP podcast. I pitched the raffle. So let's get into tonight. The Kyle Rittenhouse case. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The fact that we're going on day 3, I think, of deliberation from the jury is absolutely alarming. This should not be taken lightly. This was there is video of clear case self-defense. Clear. No question. None at all. Self-defense 100%. But yet here we are. Day 3 of deliberation. I think it's day 3, at least day 2. I'm pretty sure it's day 3. And yet we still have the jury trying to figure out and gather evidence on whether or not this guy is guilty of murder. No. This is 100%. Number one, this shouldn't have been to trial. So going back to right end of day 2, says Andrea. Thank you. Going back to what I said, this is a clear-cut case. This should have never went to trial. Why did it go to trial? It's a valid question. Why did it go to trial? It went to trial based solely, in my personal opinion, on judicial activism. Any sane prosecutor or human being on the planet would watch that video and say, nah, there's no case here. Clear self-defense. 1,000%. So this is right now in court due to judicial activism. I'm not talking about the judge specifically. I'm talking about the court system that we currently have, that we understand fully is already corrupt. But make no mistake, if this winds up being a guilty verdict on anything other than like some ridiculous misdemeanor, this is a fold by the jury to the mob. 1,000%. Look, you can't even exactly blame the jury if that's the way they go, because nobody wants to see their city burn. But why the hell would you convict an innocent man, young man, who was a teenager, or technically still a teenager at the time, of murder when you know he was defending himself? All of the evidence is there. There is no question here. We should not be sitting here tonight having this conversation on whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse should be in court. There is no reason for that. None at all. So, obviously, we have a real issue on our hands, because if you have mob control or democracy, we don't live in a democracy, by the way, for those of you that don't know. Everybody watching this feed right now knows that. We live in a constitutional republic. We don't live in a democracy. There's a lot of people that may stumble across this stream and think that we do live in a democracy. Democracy is mob rule. The vast majority of people think or say a certain thing, and that's the way the vote goes. That's not how we operate. We have a judicial system that is supposed to be fair and just. Blind fair and just, by the way. So if this comes down to Rittenhouse being convicted of anything less than some ridiculous minor misdemeanor, we have an extraordinary problem on our hands that is far worse than what we've been having to deal with as of today. That's just a fact, because that means that the jury bent to the mob rule. They valued the fear of the repercussions of the verdict over the actual value of a court proceeding, if that makes sense. I hope it does. We cannot operate, we cannot function as a civilized society if we are going to bend our will in a judiciary system based solely on the fact that if we don't do X, then our cities will burn. That's a real problem. Real problem. We cannot allow this to happen. We obviously know 1,000% that this was self-defense. And so if he gets convicted, then or at least I'm going to speak for myself, okay? I know 1,000% that if he gets convicted, it is primarily or 100% due to the fact that they are scared of the death threats and the violent threats that are being rained down upon him, and not because he was actually guilty. And that, folks, is a real problem, because we are supposed to be a fair system. Obviously, it's not fair by any means, but this would just shove us over the edge of just absolutely a banana court justice system. And that's a scary place to be. Scary place to be. That's just a thought. Take it or leave it. Let's get to your comments about the Rittenhouse trial. There's a lot I could say there, but we're already about 21 minutes in. I want to get to the rest of it. Eric, in my honest opinion, more men should tell their male friends that they love and care about them. We need to build each other up. That probably doesn't apply, but that's still very, very, very valid. You're absolutely 100% right, Eric. We do need to talk to each other, our male friends, and build each other up and talk about it. Masculinity is not predicated upon not showing emotion or fear or love. That's not what masculinity is predicated upon. Masculinity is predicated upon you or me doing the right thing in the face of no matter what we're looking at. Right? I love all of the men that are in my life that contribute in a positive manner to my life. All of them. I love all the women too. I love people. I've said it time and time again. I will never mince words about the fact that I'm not that person that's going to sit out there and say, I can't stand people, blah, 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 blah. To quote Greta Thunberg, blah, blah, blah. I'm not. I love people. I love all of the positive, influential men in my life. I love all of the men in my life that aren't so great. I still love you very much so. I want the best for you. I want the best for us. So that's a very, very accurate statement and very applicable. So thank you, Eric. Andrea, if he is found innocent, people will be fully idiotic to riot. Yes, that's exactly why we're sitting here right now having the conversation. 100% solely based on that right there. Otherwise, I would please take a poll. How many people believe that this would be in day 3 of jury deliberation if there were not threats of violence and riots if they don't convict Kyle Rittenhouse? Okay, let's take it one step further. Had this not made the news at all, would there even be a consideration of conviction? Probably not. Not even close. And you can say, or I will say with pretty valid certainty, not 1000%, but pretty close, that had this not been a Black Lives Matter event, then you wouldn't even hear about this trial. You wouldn't, because it's an obvious case of self-defense. Because this is such a toxic situation that has been going on for over a year, which all of the media has destroyed the narrative. They've called this kid a cold-blooded murderer. They've called him a white supremacist. They have literally lied from top to bottom about this entire situation to construct a narrative. Why? Let me explain why I think that they have done this. It is not an attack on Kyle Rittenhouse. It is not to convict Kyle Rittenhouse. The attack, in my personal opinion, is on your and my Second Amendment. It is on our ability to defend ourselves in any given situation. In this case, during a Black Lives Matter riot. This wasn't a protest. This particular event was a riot. The city was burning. I have testimony from people on my team that live 15 minutes from Kenosha. And they say exactly what you're hearing in regards to the fact that this was absolutely terrifying. And the cops didn't do anything about it. Taxpayer dollars, hard at work, folks. My blue thin line, right? I don't know all the specific details, but I know for a fact from the testimony that I was given from a person on my team that lives right next to Kenosha I think she even told me that her and her kid had to hide in the damn basement because that's how scary the situation was. This is an attack on our Second Amendment and our ability to defend ourselves in any given situation. This situation happened to be a Black Lives Matter riot. In regards to the Jacob Blake situation, which, as I've heard from many, many, many credible sources, that dude like showed up to a house that he had already raped the woman. She called the cops. He had a restraining order, pulled out a knife, jumped in the car with kids in it that tried to steal it and then got shot. Sorry. If that's real, if all of those elements are real, then yeah, you deserve to be shot to death. I don't care what costume the person's wearing. And I say it to police all the time. I don't care what costume you're wearing. You're not justified in your actions. But in this case, if all of those are true, then there should have been no riots. Why were people having Jacob Blake? My own team did it. The Saints did it. Oh, I forget it's reversed. Right? They had Jacob Blake stickers on their helmet. If the dude was an actual rapist and tried to jump into a car with a weapon and with kids in it that weren't his, of a car from a woman that he already raped, then we have no discussion here. There's no riot to be had in the first place. But all of this leads to the more applicable storm and repercussions that we're dealing with today. And that's the attack on your ability to defend yourself. These are my opinions. Take them or leave them. Just my thoughts. Let's get to a couple of your comments. Shameless plug by Jason for the Pepper Door Caucus, which I'm pretty sure that just started happening today. I'm a part of that, but I don't know anything about it. So, my God, there's a lot of comments. You guys are just phenomenal. Andrea says, if he is found innocent, people would be fully idiotic to write. I said that one already. Yeah. And he is innocent. There's no question. This should not be a conversation. Dean Peterson, what would the opportunity... Oh, I'm sorry. What would the opposite of jury nullification be? Because that's what we're talking about. That's a fantastic question. I think, honestly, given all of the circumstances of the trial, I know this isn't really applicable to your comment, but really this should be a mistrial with prejudice, meaning that the prosecution, which should have never brought this to the courts in the first place, they should be. Look, my personal opinion. Okay, let's just disregard the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. Just the fact that the prosecution shouldered and waved a freaking AR-15 around the courtroom, he needs to be disbarred, right? And grounds for, I mean, honestly, you could you could kind of press criminal charges on the fact that this dude's waving an AR-15 around a courtroom with his finger on the trigger. My God. I don't know about jury nullification. I do 100% believe that after the AR-15 incident, before that, he withheld evidence from the jury. Before that, he spoke about it's not circumstantial evidence, I believe, but evidence that the judge had already said is not going to be allowed, and for super valid reasons, he did it anyway. There are a ton of reasons why this case should be a mistrial and based on prejudice, meaning they cannot go back to trial. These charges can never be pressed against Rittenhouse again. But in my own personal opinion, I kind of don't want that to happen because I want this kid to get a full slate of innocent, and nothing short. And then sue the freaking pants off of every news network that called him a white supremacist, a cold-blooded murderer, talked about him crossing state lines. He worked there. He was there that day. cleaning graffiti off the wall and offering medical advice. He lives 30 minutes away. All of it's absolutely absurd. All right, let me keep going because I have a lot more to cover, and we're 31 minutes in. So hopefully, if he is found innocent, a lot of bold people will be a lot less bold. If he is found guilty, they will know they can get away with this BS. Exactly. That's my problem and concern. Thank you, South Jersey Libertarian. Stephen Andrew Witt, my man. Completely agree. All right, there's so many damn comments that I just can't. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you so much. Let's keep going. Oh, I do love this one though. Stephen Andrew Witt. Mostly peaceful but fiery protests. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So, with that being said, oh, you know what? Let's do this real quick. This is always a lot of fun for me because it is me, Insect and Pest Management. If you have pest issues in South Mississippi, South Louisiana, or actually all of Mississippi, South Louisiana, or South Alabama, please give me a call 1 800 417 6013. That's 1 800 417 6013. Insect and Pest Management. Call your boy. I need more money and you need less pests. That's about the best ad read I've ever given right there. So, up first. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to say my little tagline there. There was my Insectimad. Now let's get to our headlines, and here we go. The first segment I have is a new one, the most recent one that we've implemented, mobile auto repair service. This segment's called All the Feels. So please contact Greasy Porcupines Mobile Auto Repair Service, road service, tune-ups and maintenance, service and repair, affordable pricing, excellent customer service, quality workmanship, coming soon to a neighborhood near you. So give Alex Flores a shout and get your car fixed. He literally charges what you can afford if he can make it to you. Please help this man out. He is sacrificial in all that he does and a great human being. So, with that ad being read, this segment's called All the Feels. Now, let's talk about something that gives me all the feels. I have seen this for years, and I am super glad that this popped up again on my Facebook feed because it is just fantastic. And this is the real heart of America, right? All of the divisive trash that we see going on in the news, especially with race. No, that's wrong. Don't believe 1 second of it. We are a community and we love each other. We need to stop being divisive. We need to love our neighbors. All right. I got to calm down a little bit. Sorry. I love this so much because this reflects what I witness in my daily life on an everyday basis. And I really, really hope that it resonates with y'all. So, after an accidental Thanksgiving invite in 2016 introduced Jamal Hinton and Wanda Dench, they are still going strong. The two first met in 2016 when Dench from Mesa, Arizona. Oh, which is, I didn't see that before, which is where Alex Flores is. And so if you need your mobile repair service, Greasy Porcupines, check out Alex Flores. Hit him up in Arizona. The two first met. This is a black man and an older white woman. The two first met in 2016 when Dench from Mesa, Arizona, sent a text inviting Hinton over for dinner. It was meant for her grandson, who had changed his phone number. Instead, Hinton got the message while sitting in class at Desert Vista High School. So a white grandma sent a text to her grandson saying, "Hey, you coming by for Thanksgiving dinner?" And the young black kid got it. The two figured out the mistake, then sent selfies to each other, with Hinton asking if he could still come over. Dent's text, "Of course you can. That's what grandmas do. Feed everyone." Hinton took to Twitter to tell followers that the two are still celebrating the day together. So after 5 years, and then next year will be I think the 6 years, 7 years going on now. There was an accidental text sent from a white grandma to what she thought was her grandson, who was received by a black kid in school. And he's like, yo, can I still come to the Thanksgiving dinner anyway? And she's like, of course you can. Of course you can, because that's what families, that's what people do. And that is the average American. Don't let them fool you. All of this race baiting is just divide and conquer. This is the heart of America. No mistake about it. Doesn't matter what your damn skin color is. We should be treating each other with respect, honor, gratitude, and praise and acceptance. Just as these two families have done. And after 6 years of that initial mistake, they are still having Thanksgiving dinner together. And that gives me all of the feels. And I love it very, very, very much. So don't believe the hype. Don't believe the BS. We are not nearly as divided as people say that we are. Also, check out Ashley. She is a great team member of mine. High-end bags and accessories. Fierce Luxury by Ashley. FierceLuxuryByAshley.com. Fierce Luxury is a high-end bag and accessories consignment store based online. They carry the hottest brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, and Hermes. Consign with them for 30% fee, 20% less than most consignment stores. Find them online at FierceLuxuryByAshley.com. That's FierceLuxuryByAshley.com. And on Facebook in their exclusive group, Fierce Luxury by Ashley. Again, that website is FierceLuxuryByAshley.com. Let's check some comments. There's a bunch of them. I don't know how many I can get to, but we'll read a few of them very quickly as we are running fast out of time. That's a great point, Stephen Andrew Witt. The media is terrible. I want to say this, and I am very much not concerned with any blowback for it, right? A broken clock is right twice a day. If Trump said anything right, he said this right. The media is the enemy of the people. And he is 100% on point with that. Facts. Media is terrible. Yes, it is more than terrible. It is the enemy of the people. It is our enemy. But we have the ability to fight off that disgusting, biased, and detrimental media by subscribing to independent journalism and following people that are independent thinkers. So I hope to be one of those. Hit the notifications bell. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Facebook. Hit the notifications bell, Twitter, all of that. So every time I go live, your phone, your device just erupts like a volcanic explosion with yours truly, and more importantly, your comments. Because that's really what the show is about. Having you engage in the session, and so that we can get the overwhelming majority of what the people actually think and want out there to the public. So do all of those things. Do all of them. That's a good comment. Real quick, Steven, you just repeated yourself. I wasn't trying to. Didn't mean to. Sorry. Remix. South Jersey Libertarian. If I ever hit a lottery, I got to play first. LOL. That's funny. I will find a way to start a libertarian TV station. Yes, please do that. I am in and down. Very, very much so. All right. So let's talk about Joe Rogan for a minute. I've already talked about him before. All right. We all know how he absolutely just slaughtered CNN. He did that. And the whole world knows that he did that. Right? Yes, right. That is correct. And still, they are going after him. Not only him, but most of you have been following, or at least some of you have been following Aaron Rodgers, the shoe-in Hall of Fame quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I'm assuming that at some point he'll leave the Green Bay Packers, but I'll leave the sports talk alone. Love sports, right? But we'll leave that alone. He's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. No question about it. He's probably a first-round ballot Hall of Famer in the NFL. He had to sit out for like 10 days or something crazy from the Green Bay Packers, who had won 7 in a row. The first game they lost was against the Saints. Keep doing that. My team. And then they popped off like 7 W's in a row. He tested positive for COVID and they benched him because of NFL rules. Because you had to be benched if you tested positive. And he's unvaccinated. Which, by the way, if you test positive, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to sit the bench. Which is ironic, considering the fact that you absolutely can still spread coronavirus if you're vaccinated. That's not even in question. And you're also talking about like the top 1% of the healthiest, most fit people on the planet who are at virtually zero risk of adverse side effects from coronavirus. And they benched him anyway. And the media ripped him apart and he showed, excuse me, 0 F's. Absolutely 0. DefyThePower.com. John Morrison. Saw him in South Carolina again this weekend. Fantastic. Fantastic couple. Fantastic individual. Handcrafted. DefyThePower.com. Go check yours out. Get yours. I got mine. And so the media absolutely destroys Aaron Rodgers for no reason, all on baseless rhetoric that they can't prove scientifically, but they are banking on the fact that the vast majority of the American public are going to remain ignorant and not do their own research. What they don't understand is that the vast majority of the American public has been doing their own research. ASMR style. The American public has been doing a lot of research, especially when you locked everybody down. That happened anyway. So, even after Joe Rogan destroying CNN over their false claims of him taking horse dewormer because he was prescribed ivermectin by a doctor, not horse dewormer, the ivermectin that was prescribed to him by a doctor that has been used on humans and won a Nobel Prize for it for a long time. They then began to crush Aaron Rodgers over it, despite the fact that we all watched Joe Rogan annihilate CNN over this scenario. Even Terry Bradshaw got no respect for you anymore, Terry Bradshaw. He even told, after all of the facts came out, these facts that we already knew, that ivermectin is not a horse dewormer. Yes, it is an element to a horse dewormer, but ivermectin has been used on humans. Not going to beat that horse. Terry Bradshaw comes out laughing, as the rest of the media does, at Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers told everyone, like Joe Rogan, said the same thing, that they're taking a plethora of medications to help with COVID, which is very real. Monoclonal antibodies, vitamin D, getting out in the sun, healthy, exercise, ivermectin, that's prescribed for human beings. All of these are very real treatments for coronavirus. They are. This isn't a game. This isn't a joke. This is real. But the media has one goal in mind. That goal being the narrative. We're going to get into a little bit more of that. And so even after that, right? Saturday Night Live, I'm guessing it was this Saturday, decided that they were going to mock Joe. Go look it up. It's absolutely abhorrent and disgusting lies. And where's all the misinformation, disinformation people now? Where are you? Because you're not doing your job. When you allow people like Terry Bradshaw to slam Aaron Rodgers over taking ivermectin that's prescribed for human beings, when you allow CNN and SNL, Saturday Night Live, which is a joke, by the way, pun intended, they haven't been funny for years because they're just far left activists now. I'm not going to call them liberals because they're not liberals. Liberals actually care about the liberty of other human beings. They're liberal. But yet, no fact checks, no censorship, even though we know 1000% these are lies that they're telling, 100% lies. They let it slide anyway because all that matters is the narrative. So I'm guessing on Saturday Night Live, this last Saturday, they did a Ted Cruz bit, which I wish was funny. There's a lot to be funny about Ted Cruz, but what they did wasn't funny. It was just a bunch of lies. And then they went on to hammer Joe Rogan about using a prescribed medication from a doctor, ivermectin, after the fact that he absolutely destroyed the entire career in any potential of positive results for CNN. They're still doing it anyway because they don't want the truth. They don't want the truth at all. SNL's garbage anyway, but it's important to highlight because Ted Cruz blasted Sesame Street over promoting, which I'm going to play a small clip for. I got a couple of small clips left at the end of the episode here as we wind down, about trying to push the vaccinations on children. I'll get into that in a second. But before we do, I want you to go on Vid Debate and argue with everyone about the facts because you have all the facts. You got more facts than I do. So go spread them on Video Debate. Vid Debate app is designed to give users the ability to use their God-given right of free speech to post up to 3-minute videos of the topic of the day. On the topic of the day, sorry. Every day, Video Debate will post a question in the hopes to draw strong opinions from all sides of a range of topics from pop culture to politics. So go on Video Debate, download the app right now, iOS or Android, and start posting your videos and letting people know and spreading the freaking truth. Because more than anything, our country right now needs truth, which is being massively suppressed. And then they tell you that you're the one spreading disinformation and misinformation when they're the ones that are actually lying. Because all that matters is the narrative. And they've made that abundantly clear. Why hasn't Dr. Fauci come out? Why hasn't Dr. Fauci come out and said, you know what? I was wrong about the mask. I was right the first time when I said that mask or false sense of security. And then I lied to you and said, never mind. We really just need them. I only wanted for the mass to be not bought in large supply because I wanted the hospitals to make sure that they had the masks that they needed, the double mask and the triple mask, even though I know the masks don't work. Come on. Go argue about it on Video Debate. Dude's a liar, scumbag, a career criminal, by the way. Habitually lies, continues to lie, and will not relent in his lying and propaganda. He is an evil human being, and he needs to go to prison for the rest of his life. So let's get to a couple of these clips as we wind out. Finish up the show. Before we get to the clips, let's check your vast majority of comments. See if I can pick one or two out because just incredible. Brian Sutton Media. Joe Rogan is not a medical expert. And now, here is Big Bird with medical advice. That's really good. That's a great comment. Thank you. Steven, now there's masks sitting in storage not being used. Man, I can't. There's so many freaking masks I find on the ground everywhere. I pick them up and throw them in the trash myself. Number one, they're trash to begin with. Number two, don't throw your freaking masks on the ground and pollute the damn ground with trash. Please, please don't do that. Number one, it's extraordinarily harmful to a variety of animals and insects, just wildlife in general. Number two, I understand fully they don't work. I'm an advocate against masks. There are dozens of studies that say that masks are very inefficient and give you a false sense of security, just like freaking Anthony Fauci said months ago. But don't throw your damn mask on the ground. I know nobody in this comment section is doing that or watching this show because we're all adult, mature, intelligent, and informed human beings. But if just please don't do that. It's disgusting. All right, JP Stevens. Sesame Street is worried about vaxxers when they have a friend who's been living in a garbage can for decades. Probably not healthy. That's a phenomenal comment, JP. Thank you. Go check out JP's episode podcast, please, y'all. Fantastic podcast. Descendant in Chief. Start with Mine, the Cajun Libertarian. Great show. Great podcast. Thank you, my friend. Steven, Big Bird got the ouchie Fauci. The Fauci ouchie. Yes, he did. Also, Steven, SNL went down when Will Ferrell left. SNL has been going down for a long time. High current what are you talking about? Get off of my screen. Sorry, y'all. Still working with this freaking Neanderthal computer. So, make it make sense. There's no making it make sense. We have to reach beyond what the corporate media is doing. We have to. That's going to take a lot of legwork and face-to-face conversation, right? And given the statistics, even as painful as some of those conversations are going to be and will be, they need to happen. They have to happen, right? So, with that being said, let's wrap up the episode with a couple of clips. But before we get there, we have one more ad. Her ad is wrapping up. I need to reach out to her to see if she wants to renew it because she is a phenomenal sponsor. Laura Province, K2 Realty. Your home is your sanctuary. As a second generation real estate agent, Laura Province knows the importance of helping her clients navigate through the home buying and selling experience. Whether you're buying your first home, a second investment property, or seeking that dream retirement residence, you too can have a seamless experience with K2 Realty. Sorry, again, y'all, I am still working with this little tiny computer like that that's about how big it is right there. That's also why it keeps shaking. And so I have to lean real up on there, real close to try to read that ad. And that's an important ad because she's phenomenal. She's in South Louisiana. I'm sure she can help you out if you're in Mississippi, Texas, or North Louisiana. So give her a call if you need to sell or rent or buy a new home. Do that tomorrow morning. Pretty late now. So, all right, let's get into the last little bit here. Let me play you a couple of clips real quick as we end the night here. First one I want to start off with is, hey, shocker, Big Bird, Sesame Street.
I'm a little scared to get the shot because I don't like needles. Will it hurt?
Oh, it's okay to be scared and to have some of those big feelings, Big Bird. Can I tell you something? I'm a grown up and I don't really like needles either. In fact, even as an adult, I don't like to look when the doctor puts that shot in my arm.
I'm the same way too, Big Bird.
Well, but you're a doctor.
Yeah, but even some doctors don't like getting shots. Luckily, there are ways that we can manage some of those big feelings.
Oh, yeah. One thing that I find is maybe singing a song to distract yourself, maybe the ABCs while you're getting your shot.
You know what I like to do? I like to bring something from home that might make me feel safe, like a favorite toy, maybe. I also take 3 big breaths and then think about all the fun things I can do after I get the vaccine.
Oh, you know who else we could ask, Big Bird? We could ask Rosita. Remember, she just got her shot. We could ask what she did.
All right. So obviously, the doctor is not very good at math. He said he likes to take 3 big breaths, and then he only took 1. So, not that that's valid. I just like to point that out because it stands out to me every single time. Every time I watch that clip, he says I like to take 3 big breaths, and then he only takes 1. What the are we doing? Here is the problem. The number one, I don't want to say that. The massive problem is the propaganda, for one. And we're gonna get it. I've played this clip before, not that one, but the one I want to play here in a few minutes. There's only one reason for this, because it is not about science, health, or safety, is it? No, it's not. We know that. How do we know that? Because children have a higher chance of dying in a car crash on the way to get vaccinated than they do from coronavirus. That is a statistical fact that cannot be discredited. It is 100%, 1,000% fact that they have an extraordinarily low chance of having basically any adverse reactions from coronavirus or spreading the disease to other people. This isn't even in question. Not even a little bit. Children under the age of 18 have the same chance of dying from coronavirus as they do dying from being struck by lightning. Why are you pushing this propaganda? This makes no sense. In my personal mind and opinion, I would rather them have coronavirus than take a chance on getting sick from a very untrustworthy vaccine that, as of to date, right now, gives you what, 50% maximum protection after 6 months? Come on. We know why. We know why. We'll get to why. But the fact that they're continuing to spread this propaganda and brainwash our freaking kids. And why does Big Bird sound like a damn pedophile? I heard this a couple days ago. It's the first thing that stuck out to me. What the hell? Why does Big Bird all of a sudden sound like a freaking weirdo? That part sticks out to me. I don't know what's going on there, but why in the hell he sounds like a pedophile is beyond me. It's just weird. That's not. I don't remember Big Bird sounding that weird. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. It was the first thing that I listened to it like several days ago, and I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" Big Bird sounds like a weirdo. Anyway, we've gone over the stats at great length on the show about coronavirus. It's probably my big thing. It's the reason I'm sitting here today. It's because I saw the writing on the wall in March of 2020. And I was like, what the heck? No. This is not right. This isn't adding up. We need to fix this immediately. And I was called a conspiracy theorist and everything else under the sun. And here we are today. All of the people that said all of those things about me. I don't need your apology, but I expect that you're saying it in your mind. So, unbelievable. So, I have another Sesame Street clip. Now, this is from several months ago, but this is a big issue for me, just like coronavirus is. And it's about race. So let's play that clip really quick.
Things on the outside, like our skin color, our hair texture, our noses, our mouths and eyes, make us who we are. Many people call this race. But even though we look different, we're all part of the human race.
All of that sounds very innocent, right? It's not. The fact and there's a lot more detail to that, but I really wanted to highlight the fact that Sesame Street is now saying that the way you look and your skin color makes up who you are. Hard, no, it does not. Those are immutable characteristics, as I have gone through at great length, that mean absolutely nothing. Nothing. Your immutable characteristics that you didn't have a choice in choosing have next to zero value in the grand scheme of things. And I apologize for misrepresenting that concept a couple of days ago. So I shouldn't have to reevaluate or re-explain that, right? No. Your immutable character, your skin color, your hair texture, the things that you were born with that you have no control over, and other things that you may, they do not make up who you are. Not even a little bit. This is, again, propaganda. So shut the damn PBS off and don't let your kids watch another second of it, because they are corrupting the minds of children. First and foremost, what the hell are we talking to kids about race for? Let them be kids. You know, racism, and that's what they're going to say. We're trying to combat racism. No, you're not. You are promoting racism because kids don't understand this nonsense. Racism and race is a taught thing. It is not a thing that you are born with and you understand naturally. You have to be taught it. You have to experience it. Kids just go be kids. They're not concerned. They may be like, oh, yeah, you look a little different from me. I don't care. Throw the football. Let's have a race. They don't care about that stuff. Those things are taught as divisive techniques. And that's what Sesame Street is doing right there. They are promoting the fact that kids should view each other as race first and not human beings. And kids naturally view each other as human beings first, not race. This is trash. And I could care less who has something to say about it, because, my God, I'm so sick of this divisive crap when it comes to race. It's like the biggest tool that the Marxists have to offer right now. It's the only thing in the playbook that they have, because they understand that it actually means nothing. All it matters is that they divide each other by race. Because what happens next is then they start to begin to tell white kids, there's no such thing as white. Go find a white person. That doesn't exist. There's no such thing as white. There's no such thing as black. We're all just different shades of freaking brown. That's a fact. It's all divisive. Divide and conquer to corrupt an entire society. And they're starting with the children. Don't let that happen. Stephen, CRT Marxism. Yeah. And I've even gotten blowback from libertarians about cultural Marxism and CRT. They're not actually being taught. Those are just myths by the alt-right. Man, stop it with this freaking garbage alt-right boogeyman trash. It's just like everybody on the right, or the people on the right, calling everybody on the left communists. It's all disgusting garbage. It's uneducated nonsense. Yes, we have Marxists in America. We have communists in America. We have exactly that, CRT Marxism, teaching kids that if you're of a certain color, you're either an oppressor or being oppressed. That is garbage, toxic cancer. Cancer. South Jersey Libertarian. Leftists hate when we literally don't give a shit about race. They want us to hate each other over race so that they can feel like they're in power. But when I take a Muslim friend to a gun range with two black guys, they think it's for show. Exactly. Exactly, Stephen. Kids don't care about how other kids look. They could care less. They just want to spend time with each other and have fun. We got to get back to that. It's just crazy. Stephen, my daughter is mixed and has only really asked me about disabled people who are wheelchair bound. And then I explain why they are in it. Fantastic. And you should. I love Thomas Daniel Queter. His feet don't work. He's in a wheelchair. Love Thomas. Running for U.S. Senate, or I'm sorry, he's running for New York State at Tom452.com. That's TOMFOR52.com. Yeah, he's in a wheelchair, been bound to one his entire life. Extraordinary handicaps. And you know what he says? Let the kids ask the damn questions. Do not shelter them. Let them go up to him and other handicapped people and be like, hey, what's up? The hell's wrong with your legs? That's a good thing. Stop trying to shelter people from their damn feelings. It's a freaking toxic problem. Michelle Goodwin talking about Big Bird because his speech sounds like grooming, a technique used by pedophiles to gain trust with a child. Yeah, and I noticed that other people had said, oh, excuse me, throat's gonna dry. The original Big Bird had died. Still, dude sounds weird. I don't like it. Tomfor52.com. TOMFOR52.com. All right, last bit. And here we go. This is a rather longer audio clip. It's probably 2 minutes long, which is pretty long for what I do here. But this is extraordinary. Shouldn't be that surprising because it's coming from The View. But here we go.
Address the elephant in the room because you were supposed to join. You were supposed to join us in the studios weeks ago, but you couldn't because ABC has a very strict policy. You can't get into this building unless you're fully vaccinated. Everybody in this room knows that and is vaccinated. But you made a conscious decision not to get the vaccine. Now, the CDC says a person is 10 times less likely to be hospitalized from COVID and 11 times less likely to die if they've gotten the vaccine. Okay, so why didn't you get it?
Yeah, so my story is a little bit unique. I'll share that first before I get into those CDC numbers. But
remember, we have a certain amount of time, Jed, if you want to get everything in.
I want to let people know why I'm not there. I have a medical exemption to the vaccine that's been written by my infectious disease vaccinated specialist in New York City that's been co-signed by 3 other doctors. I'm not a candidate for this vaccine. I also have sky-high, multi-tiered, multifaceted natural immunity, very, very high, that has also been proven, it has been shown, and it is substantiated by letters from these doctors. So for me, personally, this vaccine poses a greater risk than a benefit. I'm also not a risk to any of you. I know there's been a lot of debate about that, but I have these doctors who've gone on record with that as well. So my point about all of this is that I am not anti-vax. What I really want is for people to make these decisions for themselves. I want every one of you to sit with your family members, to sit with your trusted doctors, and to say, what is the best decision for me? However, I do oppose mandates. I oppose them on the fact that let's look at the science. This is a vaccine that was created to prevent severity of disease and to prevent hospitalizations. Now, we can have a whole debate on that in itself, but the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID and does not prevent you from transmitting COVID.
Oh, my goodness.
Reality,
no,
and we have seen that.
That's not so. Come on.
No,
you've been at Fox TV
you
too
don't
long.
have to, Joy. You don't have to listen to me on that. You don't have to listen to me. You can listen to the director of the CDC. You can look at the CDC's website. That is why masks were reinstated for people who were vaccinated, because they said, and they admitted, they came out and said, this Delta variant, transmission is going to be a thing for vaccinated and unvaccinated people. So I'm not opposed to the vaccine, but I am opposed to the mandate 100% on the grounds of science.
People have died from COVID, including Manny's in-laws. And we've been friends a long time, but Manny's parents, I just don't understand why you would choose to prioritize your personal freedom over health and safety of others. And I just really don't think that we should allow this kind of misinformation on our website.
We've had this we've had the United States Surgeon General debunk.
Yes, I heard what he said.
Everything that you've just said, and I just don't think we should.
So when you have the Surgeon General on, first of all,
on our air. I'm really sorry.
Sonny, first of all,
I'm really sorry.
Sonny, first of all, I would say to you as a friend, what I just said to you is I am prioritizing my health, and people talk about the common
over
good.
the health and safety.
You're not going to have a
of
common
other
good if
people.
you're not prioritizing your own health. You have
Over
the
the health
Surgeon
and
General
safety.
on.
This should sound very familiar.
So then they just cut her off as they had done the entire episode or the entire clip there, and then just cut her off and say, "Oh, we're going to go to break." Let's point out a few things. She had numerous doctors point out that she was not a candidate for the vaccine. Co-signed, several immunologists co-signed that she shouldn't get the vaccine for health reasons. And then they go on later and say, you're prioritizing your freedom over other people's health. And she says, no, I'm prioritizing my health. Oh, you're prioritizing your health over other people. So what the is she supposed to do? Go get vaccinated and potentially die so that other people may not die? Regardless of all the other factors that are involved. And she literally said nothing but facts. Nothing but facts there. The vaccine is not even a vaccine. We got to stop calling it that. Me first. It's a shot, just like the flu shot. That's why you're going to need 17 boosters over the next 4 years. Because the initial I've got vaccinated for other things. I didn't need any more boosters. I've been vaccinated for MMR. How many boosters have I had? Exactly 0. Why? Because the vaccine works. It's a vaccine. This is a shot that we know 1,000% wanes in efficacy over 6 months, dropping down always to about 50% or lower. And because they have no scientific argument, it's always X number of people died, including my mammy. Like that means nothing. That has nothing to do with the conversation at hand. And then they're going to call her, they're labeling her with misinformation that they don't deem worthy of their net. We can't air this disinformation that the CDC said, that Bill Gates has just said this week, who helped develop the vaccine. By the way, that's a whole nother conversation. But why in the hell Bill Gates is a freaking health aficionado? Why? But even he said that we have to have these vaccines aren't working after 5 months, that we need to build better That's a real quote, by the way. We need to make better vaccines. So get ready for that. But these people are absolutely disgusting. And the look on their faces. And what's worse is the people clapping for this. We can't allow this misinformation. Like, this isn't controversial. Everyone knows that you can still spread and catch COVID if you're vaccinated. This happened like this morning, this show, or yesterday morning. It was within the last 72 hours. And now they're calling her a spreader of disinformation and misinformation that she should not be allowed to say anything on their network. What? This is how arrogant and how much they hate science. They hate it. Why? That's the real question, right? So why do they refuse to acknowledge any sort of actual science that matters in regards to this? Why? There's one reason.
You buy Pfizer. CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer. Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer. ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer. CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer. This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer. And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer. Meet the Press Data Download. Brought to you by Pfizer. This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer. On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Okay, and what?
That's why. That's why. That's why they will destroy every single person that speaks the truth, or they will attempt to destroy. They only have as much power as we give them. Remember that. Per Spike, the Jew master, you are the power. We are the power. That's why. Brought to you by Pfizer. Sponsored by Pfizer. That's why they will go out of their way to destroy every single person, or try to, that speaks the truth about this situation, in the face of the fact that we all know 1000% that they're lying. And they're lying intentionally. And they will cut people off and ban you from social media. I assume that this video will be banned. Who cares? Share it. Put it out there. And let them know that there is one goal in mind. Two goals. We'll say two goals. Number one, control and submission. Number two, money. Brought to you by Pfizer. And this episode was brought to you by not Pfizer. However, I love you very much. I can't comb through the rest of the comments. We are out of time. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And this show is not brought to you by Pfizer and probably will be canceled, as will I. So get the information out there. Do it now. Share it far and wide. I love you very much. I will see you on Friday night on the Muddied Waters channel. Same Muddy Waters time, mate. Same Muddy Waters channel, I guess. Same Muddy Waters time, same Muddy Waters channel. All of those things. Not brought to you by Pfizer. I love you very much. Good night.